Okay, on one of the armatures we're going to be extracting the bearing and then the fan. For that we have set up a pulley so we can take it off. Now this space right here will be used with the second commutator on this side. So this is the main part that we have to figure out, which is the main structure of the armature. Then we go into the casing, the housing, where everything is going to fit. Alright, we already extracted the bearing, but we put some kind of stress here because of the pulley ends. So what we did here is I built a piece that slides, got a groove and slides into the shaft. That way I can grab it from the piece itself and it'll do the force right on the center of it. So here is the housing. I use the same exact plate, and these are the bolts that I drilled the holes through to hold the board and the bearings together. And normally the motor comes with 3 bolts, which I'm just gonna leave it, but eventually I'm gonna add another bolt here, right in between the 2 cables, and so on this on the factory, so it's more sturdy. Now one thing I wanted to show you, I'm gonna see if the camera can capture high def on the grooves here, because it's very important that you guys sand real well inside the grooves, because there's a lot of resin left there, and I have to sand it down, and I'm still going in the process of doing that so I can have more room, and there won't be the resin you know, sticking out because of the wires, holding the wires, and it will take room from me, and I don't want that. So like right here, seeing that all these residues, they'll have to be sanded down, and the idea is to leave them like this. Now this side I already sanded down, and still gotta work that out, smooth them out real good without, I use 80 grit and a little bit of a wood bar to get in between the slots and be able to smooth them down. Not too much though. As you can see, I use another epoxy just to touch up any damages that I put on the insulation when I took the wires off, and I recoat it with high temperature epoxy, and you know, the edges, but basically, and make sure that you run something smooth here, so when we get the hedges in, these are the hedges that are going to be holding the wire, and they are supposed to fit in between here. So you got to make sure that, you know, you got it right. These are the hedges, they got to fit in between there just to hold the wire in place, and you got to slide them in there after the motor is wounded, and then just touch it up there with some resin in between the grooves so it doesn't slide up. And normally I grab a very fine needle nose pliers and I start pulling it slowly without taking the insulation from the motor. But basically this is it. I had to take the bearing off and so to mount the commutator. Now if we look in here, the shaft comes with some splines already from factory. I don't know if let me see if I can get a real good zoom in here. And this goes all the way to the bottom, so they are aligned, and this is great to use it for the alignment on the commutator. Now the splines, when it goes here, because it normally comes with the fan there, and this is the fan, and it's aluminum fan, so it'll go easier in there. But I had to smooth out the splines so I can get the shaft, the commutator inside the shaft smoothly. I had to, at least half of the splines, I have to file them and get them pretty smooth so I can slide and then press the commutator down. Now this commutator has inside of the mica, it's got a metal steel ring, and that's actually what mounts on the shaft. So these motors are very good. They are excellent. This is not just mica and steel. They got a built-in steel rim in there. And so we got it going. I still gotta smooth down and then start winding it with the P28. Here is the armature, the rotor already fit inside the casing. And the good thing, and what I like about these motors, is that it was able to fit in there perfect without replacing shaft or elongating the body, the frame. I just have to drill 3 holes to hold the brush board, and thread the holes, and I used 12-24 bolts and nuts, and I can adjust them and put some lock nuts here and adjust them to the height. I use some spacers to even out the space between the brush and the commutator. I use pieces of wood the same size, and it's free rotating. The brushes are not in, and it's pretty clean, but I still gotta go some more because of the resin inside. I've been sanding it inside the slots, and I just put it together here so we could see that, you know, the frame is right behind it and it'll fit. I'm using the same exact bolts, which is only has 2, and once it locks in the frame in the grooves, it will lock and it'll be perfect in position. So, and here is my wire. I'm gonna be using a 16 gauge wire, and these are 10 pounds. I don't know if that will